Hey guys, this is Chad with your episode review of Survivor South Pacific, episode 10. But before I get to that, I just want to say a huge thank you to Jeff Probst. Sent me another buff, but this time it's signed. So very cool. Thank you, Jeff. I will put this in a shadow box tomorrow and hang it on my wall. So thank you. Now on to the review. First of all, I actually wrote notes this time, and to all those to the very few that do watch my videos, I'm sorry that it's kind of late. I worked last night till, I don't know, 11 o'clock, and I actually didn't get to catch the episode until a former castaway of this season told me about it being on CBS.com, and I want to give kudos to her. She knows who she is. But I watched it last night, and I was up till 2 a.m. watching it, and then I had to be at work early this morning. So, needless to say, I didn't get any sleep hardly last night. So, that's kind of my fault. And then I came home, got crashed for a little bit, and then now I'm up, and now I'm here with the review. I kind of took notes too, so sorry. First of all, they, as they always do, they go up, they start showing Redemption. And they show Keith and Jim. Keith and Jim, that's right. They got voted off last week. Sorry, I'm a little out of it. They were talking about how Coach is running the show, basically, and Ozzy's saying, hey, fellas, I hate to told you so. So that's what's going on in Redemption. They're all just hanging out. They switch back to the camp, and the only thing I've noticed, the only line that came from Coach, and he said that this always happens to Survivor, there's more blind sides than Alliance. That came from Coach, and that's true. I mean, not many alliances stay throughout the whole end, so there is more blind sides, so he's right about that. So then they go to the duel. Before I get into that, I noticed something kind of funny, actually. On the beach, Coach and Cochran were doing Chai Chi, and I thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was hilarious. It got a chuckle out of me, so that was I thought that was pretty cool and kind of humorous at the same time. And then they go to the duel. And it was Keith, Jim, and Ozzy. So first they asked tribe members who they're rooting for, and nobody rooted for Ozzy. I don't know why. I put a big question mark on that on my notes here. I'm like, why does nobody root for Ozzy? I don't see him being an ass to anybody this whole season. But whatever, it is what it is. I don't know. I had no idea why on that one. But they go on to the duel, and it's a balancing beam act where they put the poles on each one of their hands, and it's on a board. So, and they had to balance it out, and then Jim drops out rather quickly, and then it's Keith versus Ozzy for a little bit, and Keith forfeits eventually. So now Keith and Jim became the first members of the jury, first and second members of the jury. So, and Ozzy's still on Redemption. So that's that. And then they go back to camp, and then Cochran is debating on where he should flip again. So I don't know if Cochran's confused about his game or what, but he's flippy. I don't know what his idea is. Like, keep flipping, because I think that's kind of a dumb move if he decides to flip again, because there's obviously more Apollo now than Savai. So I don't know what Cochran's strategy is, but I don't know what he's thinking. And later on the show, they're like, "Oh, you're going to be voted out 7th." So, I don't know what Cochran's strategy is. I don't get it. If anybody is watching this and has an idea, just feel free to contact me. Chad K1 on Twitter or on this YouTube. If you're watching, just leave a comment on the page. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on it. Then we go on the Immunity Challenge 1, when it's a balance beam with rice bowl on top of your head, and you had to dip in rice, and you had to run across, well, not in this case, gingerly walk to the balance beam. And bounced on top of your head and dumped it into the bowl and outweigh. And Sophie won that one. So she was really excellent in this episode, and then I'll get into it a little bit later. So, but she won immunity, so she's safe. And also they revealed there was a revelation that there was going to be a twist at Tribal, and I'll get into that a little bit later. It didn't really shock me, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. I'm like, well, they're doing that again, but I'll explain it later. So, Whitney made a good point. Edna's up Coach's butt, and she's basically Edna. I don't really consider her a player because she's been riding the coattails of Coach all season. She's kind of like a Natalie on a Boston Rob kind of deal. So that's my analogy on that. So that was something interesting that Whitney said. And then Albert's wanting to vote Edna out, so we'll see. And then Albert is trying to run his own game, or trying to run the game, or trying to run the tribe, and Coach didn't like that at all, so he takes the mob boss tactic and puts the fear in Albert and says anybody that goes against the family is pretty much dead. So that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty cool moment, and anybody who has any thoughts on that could feel free to contact me as well. We go to Tribal, and a very sad moment for me. Dawn got voted out. I like Dawn. She's she's a good player, and she's actually a really nice person because I follow her on Twitter, and she usually replies to me and stuff. So she's a really cool person, and I hope she sticks to the game a little bit longer, not till the end. So, and then the twist at Tribal Council. Do you remember last year in Redemption Island when they did that twist with the memory game? Well, they did the same thing this year, except it was a quiz game on Survivor trivia, and it's basically questions about how you would survive out in the wild and all this. And Sophie won that one too, so she was a beast in this episode. So kudos to you. Whitney ended up getting voted out, so that was that for that episode. And I watched the previews, and I'm gonna comment like Brandon stopped catching fish or something. He caught heat, and then. So Brandon might be in trouble. I don't know. And then another thing, Coach changing his name from Dragon's Lair to Zeus. I don't know what's up with that. I'm a Coach fan, but that one's weird for me. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that too. So that's that. And feel free to contact me if you have any questions or comments or debates, which I like debating on Survivor. Feel free to hit me up at Checking K1 on Twitter, or look me up on Facebook, comment on this video, whatever. I will get back to you. I'm pretty good about that usually. So, peace out.